The Lando Norris dominance this season is getting out of hand. His speed has baffled both drivers and engineers alike, especially at Red Bull, where Helmut Marco has gone as far as to say that the McLaren star's performance is otherworldly. Is this a sign that Max Verstappen abandoned all hope of winning a fourth title? Let's see right now. Red Bull advisor Helmut Marco is worried that McLaren's recent performance in Formula One has opened up a whole new world, with reigning champion Max Verstappen also taken aback by their pace. Lando Norris dominated the recent Singapore Grand Prix, out-qualifying Verstappen by 0.2 to claim pole position, and then going on to win the race with a 21-second lead over the three-time champion, a gap that at one point reached 29 seconds. The Singapore Grand Prix extended Red Bull and Verstappen's winless streak to 8 races, with only 1 pole position and 3 podium finishes for the Dutchman during that stretch. Meanwhile, McLaren has collected 4 poles, 4 wins, and 11 top 3 finishes in the same period. Verstappen and Marco had a long conversation over the phone last Tuesday, where they discussed Red Bull's performance struggles compared to McLaren. In an interview with Formula1.de, Marco was asked what Verstappen had to say during that conversation. This was what he revealed. Well, that Lando's dominance is alien, especially on medium tyres. He took 0.9 to 1 second per lap from us. Even if our car had been, let's say, optimised, he couldn't have driven those times on the medium, and we're all wondering how he did it. When Norris takes 0.9 to 1 second per lap from us, then it's a whole new world. And don't forget, in the second stint, Charles Leclerc was just as fast as Lando, or almost a bit faster. So for us, I would almost say that second place was like a victory. While McLaren has built its strong form through consistency, sticking with the same floor design since the Miami Grand Prix in May, Red Bull introduced a subtle update to their floor ahead of the Baku and Marina Bay rounds. Commenting on the upgraded Red Bull floor, Marco shared his thoughts. It is a step in the right direction, but it is not enough. They have worked very, very hard and have gained certain insights. It wasn't a completely new floor, but parts of it were new. But I think the deciding factor will be performance in Austin, and there are a lot of other things coming. Team principal Christian Horner called the Monza race the low point for Red Bull, after Verstappen finished 6th, trailing race winner Leclerc by 38 seconds. Marco agreed, saying it was more than a wake-up call. But the silver lining in all of this is the fact that Verstappen can still win even if he finishes second in every remaining race. He said, "It was the worst race since... I don't know. I can't remember when we got it so wrong in terms of strategy, pit stop, speed, everything. But we are now on the right track. The car needs to have a wider operating window, not one where relatively small changes or temperature differences of 6 or 7 degrees can affect performance. And then more speed, and also more bandwidth so that Max can attack. We know that he needs a car with front-end bite, because just relying on coming in second is not good enough." With Red Bull now trailing McLaren by 41 points in the Constructors' Championship, and having scored 119 fewer points over the last 6 rounds, largely due to Sergio Perez not finishing in the top 5 since the Miami race, Marco admitted that, given their current performance, this title fight is likely over. But I'm optimistic that if Max wins races again and Sergio can then achieve 3rd or 4th place, then things will look different again, he added. But the focus is primarily on the driver's title for now. But if we achieve that, and I believe that's only possible if Max wins at least 2 more races, then it will also look a bit more promising in the Constructors' Championship. Looking into their future, Helmut Marco confirmed that Red Bull junior drivers Ayumu Iwasa and Isaac Hadjar will have the opportunity to drive the F1 car during the rookie test day, following the 2024 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Marco also emphasised that Red Bull has talented drivers ready to step up if needed. Liam Lawson is finally stepping in to finish the season for the team. Marco emphasised that they want to compare the New Zealander's performance to Yuki Tsunoda, but warned Lawson that there's more talent waiting in the wings. Lawson has the final 6 races of the F1 season to prove himself, but the pressure is already mounting. In his column for Speedweek, Marco wrote, "We will see how he compares to Yuki Tsunoda. He needs to deliver a Formula One-worthy performance, as he has already done in his previous GP appearances. We have other strong drivers in the junior team, such as Ayumu Iwasa and Isaac Hadjar. They will get the chance to drive on the rookie test day after the season finale in Abu Dhabi. After that, we will see what happens." The performances of Oliver Bearman and Franco Colapinto have shown that the young guys are ready for the step-up. but also that the old philosophy of some team bosses that only drivers with 3 or 4 years of experience can promote to a top team is outdated. Mercedes has now proved this by choosing a young driver, just as Red Bull Racing has done several times in the past. The 81-year-old Austrian is also placing a little bit of responsibility on the FIA's shoulders. If you ask him, the organisation plays a crucial role in creating opportunities for young drivers. You can rely on youth. It is certainly a risk, but it is a manageable risk and worthwhile. You have to give the youngsters a chance to prove themselves in a GP car after they have worked their way up in the junior classes. In itself, this whole route is good, but unfortunately far too expensive. It starts in karting and continues in all classes. The FIA should start there and see how they can get the costs under control. With Lawson coming in, Red Bull decided to part ways with Daniel Ricciardo. The Australian, who was given a rare second chance that only Red Bull could have offered, managed to deliver standout performances on just 2 occasions, far from enough to warrant a return to the senior team. This is the latest assessment from Helmut Marco, who felt that Ricciardo, an 8-time F1 Grand Prix winner, had no longer shown the signature skills that once made him such a highly regarded driver, leading to his exit after Singapore. Christian Horner offered another explanation. He has a theory that Daniel Ricciardo may have struggled to adapt to the increasingly complex F1 machinery as he got older. Ricciardo first made a name for himself during a stellar 2014 season when he was promoted from Toro Rosso to Red Bull. He outperformed Sebastian Vettel, who was struggling to adapt to the new characteristics of the hybrid-powered V6 engines. That season, Ricciardo won 3 races, while Vettel finished with none, positioning Ricciardo as the de facto team leader after Vettel's move to Ferrari following that year. In recent years, Ricciardo has found himself on the opposite end of the spectrum, with Lando Norris consistently outperforming him at McLaren and Yuki Tsunoda typically having the upper hand at V-Carb. While those cars have been competitive, they haven't matched the calibre of the front-running Red Bulls he drove until 2018. During an appearance on the F1 Nation podcast, Christian Horner shared his theory that some older drivers struggle with adaptability as they age, which could be a factor in Ricciardo's recent challenges. When you get to Formula One, you're getting a huge amount of information because you've got everybody analysing how hard you hit the brake, where you brake, when you brake, your style, your positioning, the energy that you're putting through the tyre, all of those elements, he said. So you're getting all of those cues. What you tend to find with a young guy, and Daniel was exactly the same, that when he jumped in our car alongside Sebastian Vettel, the young guys, they just seem to have the ability to adapt very quickly. I think it's perhaps as they get longer into their career, they're less accommodating of driving not-so-great cars, or cars that have vices, because they're always benchmarking it against some of the better cars that they've had. It's difficult to say, but the young guys, they get in, they're hungry, and they just drive the wheels off it. And that's what we're seeing with all these juniors that are coming in at the moment. Although Ricciardo displayed moments of the speed and bravery that once made him a standout at Red Bull Racing, Horner noted that his inconsistent performance wasn't sufficient to earn him a return to the team. I think it was the lack of consistency, said Horner. I mean, he started the season roughly, and then Miami was a weekend of 2 halves. The Friday and Saturday morning was fantastic, and it looked like the Daniel of old defending against Ferraris and outdriving the car. But then the Saturday afternoon and the Sunday were disastrous, and even around Barcelona, Helmut wanted him out of the car, and there was already a lot of pressure on him there. I've done my very best to buy him as much time in the car to allow him to deliver, otherwise he would have been out of the car after Barcelona. How will Red Bull fare in the final few races of the season, given Lando Norris's blistering speed? Share your prediction in the comments section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.